Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Disability Channel Detroit. I am Zach Damon here with the wonderful and amazing Meegan Winters, the co founder and CEO of Able Eyes. Meegan, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Zach. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my goodness, it is an extreme pleasure, and I hope you don't mind if we jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So I want to touch a little bit on your background because I think that that's very important. So first of all, you have vast experience as a special education teacher, teaching students with autism. And then you also paired that with real life experience, having a best friend that was actually a wheelchair user, and they ended up, I guess, sparking the idea for what became sort of a nationwide business now, and helping people of all abilities across all communities sort of access community events and spaces in confidence and comfort. And of course, you did work with individuals with special needs with autism for nearly 20 years, and then 8 years was spent with families as an in-home consultant after pursuing a career as a teacher, educating students with autism. And of course, in addition, to that, prior to Able Eyes, you spent 3 years as an assistant principal in a center based for special education. So amazing experience there, Meegan, with your background. But I'm curious, I mean, how did all of that, again, lead to the virtual space?
Yeah, well, thank you for that amazing introduction. So I think that those two key components really played into what is now Able Eyes. My experience as a special education teacher, it's pretty common knowledge that someone on the spectrum, or many people on the spectrum, struggle with transitions and changes in routine. And I experienced that firsthand as a teacher working with students. So things like field trips or assemblies, where like that was an out of routine activity in the school day. So we knew as a team ahead of time, like we have to prepare our students for this change in routine. So we would create visual schedules and social stories and take pictures and videos and anything we could do to kind of prepare students for that upcoming change. And it's a lot of work, and it still is a lot of work for so many teachers and parents out there. And then, you know, talking to parents day after day after day that were struggling to go to the dentist, go to the doctor, go to the grocery store because that was an out of routine activity. And so that the first time I saw a virtual tour, I just thought like, oh my gosh, like this is it. Like this is that thing that could just really change lives for so many people, and not just teachers and parents, but individuals, people with on the spectrum. It could be someone that has a veteran with post-traumatic stress, or now during this pandemic, you know, who doesn't have anxiety going out into the community? So it's really become more of a universal design that was sparked and inspired by my experience as a teacher, as one. And then the other is one of my best friends was a wheelchair user, and you mentioned that in my introduction. Jessica was her name. And so Jessica and I were friends in high school, and ended up living together in college. So my last year of college was her first year. She was at a community college in the meantime. And so I just said, Jess, let's do this. I'll be here. I'll get you set up. And so she did. And I've had lots and lots of experiences with her, but living with someone with a physical disability is just so eye-opening. Just the little tiny things that can kind of come into play when going into the community, and how helpful it would be to have that information ahead of time. For example, there were only a few buses on our campus that were wheelchair accessible, and they pick you up, they drop you off, and then you're there. So if by chance that restroom is not accessible, we didn't know that ahead of time, but we probably could have prepared ahead of time. So it's just something that, really can help people with physical disabilities as well. And Jessica unfortunately passed about 6 years ago as a result of her muscular dystrophy. She had just about to finish her master's degree, but she knew about this journey and this idea that I had. I wasn't quite brave enough to do yet. And so I know that she is here with me on this journey, and right by my side. And I always wear this is a little whale tail, and this is in memory of her.
Oh, what an amazing, amazing story. But journey, I mean, just having that collegiate experience of being in a dorm or living together in an apartment, but then, like you said, seeing those day-to-day activities of those with disabilities and just realizing how important the little things are in terms of the details. So, touching
Yeah.
on some great points. And then again, just your strength to be able to carry on Jessica's memory through Able Eyes is very inspiring. Wonderful, wonderful stuff.
Thank you.
I absolutely. And I also wanted to touch on too, because you mentioned it a little bit, but I wanted to touch on the mission of Able Eyes. And your mission is to provide a visual state of the art experience and also teaching tools for individuals with disabilities. And of course, Able Eyes provides a user friendly platform to teach skills and explore environments from several different perspectives. And the ultimate goal is to increase accessibility of businesses and public venues by offering virtual walkthroughs, tours, and making them Able Eyes accessible. And again, I wanted to know from you. So, I mean, you talked about again how important it was for those businesses and local, venues to have accessibility. But why do you really feel that this mission is important for all businesses and also just in general?
Well, the obvious, the accessibility piece, and that is not just for, so ADA obviously has been an amazing, um, movement and law here in the U.S. and has made great gains in accessibility. But there's also like another kind of unrepresented group of people that have invisible disabilities too. So, like I mentioned, somebody with post-traumatic stress or somebody that has anxiety, those people, maybe are also not feeling comfortable going into the community and may need some sort of accommodation. And although this is not a required accommodation, it's an accommodation. It's something to help people feel more comfortable going out into the community. And, for businesses, I mean, prior to COVID, um, the statistic was, 1 in 4 U.S. American adults has a disability, and that included things like anxiety. And I would have to imagine that that number has increased significantly. And so there's a huge number in the population that, may benefit from having a virtual tour and just being able to look and explore at different things. So, we try to include in our tours things like restrooms and elevators and entrances and anything that would be of beneficial for someone to see. And for someone it might just be, where is the nearest exit, or is it, I mean, for someone that has a hearing impairment, it might be looking for a place that doesn't have an open kitchen because an open kitchen would be too distracting. So everyone's looking for something different, disability or not. It's a great tool to help people feel comfortable and drive them into businesses because they're feeling comfortable to do so.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, you're really breaking down, in my opinion, some barriers in terms of giving people a peace of mind before they go to a venue or a public space, and I think that serves a tremendous, tremendous, great accessibility need, as you touched on, but also creates peace of mind. And you have a great quote that you've spoke on earlier with some other interviews that you've done, and you've said individuals with autism specifically have they're individuals too, and they have very individual and unique personalities. And so, I think you were right on with that. I mean, we're all people and human beings, and we all have individual personalities, but individual access needs as well. So, you're touching on great things. Well, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Meegan.